What's up, guys? We are about to get into some really cool behind-the-scenes action from Dylan's New Nightmare as we discuss some of that stuff. But first, we got to tell you a little bit about Manscaped. Now, Dave, how often do you shave your balls?
Let's see. You know why I don't do it is I don't have a good product to help me do it.
You know what? I might have just the thing for you.
Well, it is Black Friday, so let's find out.
Indeed, we're recording this over Black Friday weekend, but even after this weekend, Manscaped, if you didn't know, is the only men's brand dedicated to below-the-waist grooming and hygiene. Okay, so if you're the kind of guy that doesn't take care of himself down there, and you complain about you not being able to get the ladies, right, you know why, and Manscaped is trying to help.
Yeah.
Okay, so right now Manscaped just recently created the world's first precision-engineered tools for your family jewels, they say. All right, so it is the Perfect Package 2.0, and I've got one of them right here, and this is what's called the Lawnmower 2.0. Yes, it is the waterproof manscaping trimmer with the powerful 6,000 RPM motor and skin-safe technology. If you nick your sack, send it back. That's their guarantee. Okay, so now there are a couple of guards. You can show them, right? So you have a couple of different size guards that you can put on here.
I like that. That's useful, so that instead of having 4 of them, you only have 2.
Exactly. Well, 2 that you can just rotate, exactly. It does come with a little brush in there, too, so you can, get all the little hairsies out of theirs. But the nice thing about this, if you look at the bottom, it's got a standard charging port in this thing.
Right.
And it's a regular USB charger, exactly. You just use that, you can plug it into your computer, plug it into any, if you use your iPhone charger, just yank out the cord and plug that cord in instead, and boom, you can charge that bad boy up. So yeah, it's cordless, and because it's waterproof, you can take it in the shower, and it's not going to damage the thing. But the Lawnmower 2.0 trimmer is TSA approved and travel friendly. Okay, you charge it up for 60 minutes of battery life. Among other goodies, the Perfect Package 2.0 kit, you'll also get the big bottle in there. It's the Crop Preserver Anti-Chafing Ball Deodorant. Now, you might ask, why ball deodorant? Well, you put deodorant on your underarms. Why wouldn't you put it under the grossest, smelliest part of your body as well? But besides that, they also give you the Crop Reviver, which is an all-natural body toner spray. But they call it the ball toner on there. It's built with natural ingredients like aloe vera. It helps soothe and refresh your sensitive skin after doing all of your touch-ups. It's perfect for your center console, your night drawer, or your gym bag. Now you can complement that with the Manscaped high-performance athletic boxers right here. Boom. They've just been added to the subscription kit, and they're designed to keep you fresh all day long. So yeah, you can get some of those included. Now, when you do get the Perfect Package 2.0 kit from Manscaped.com, you get the most bang for your buck, okay? You get a bunch of different things. Yes, you do, as a bonus gift, you get this lovely Manscaped Shed travel bag. You get all those goodies. You also get 25% savings on the order immediately. Okay, they just knock 25% off. They give you a new blade for your lawnmower every 3 months. So you don't ever have to worry about it dulling, and you don't ever have to worry about replacing it just because the blade dulled. So they'll send you a new one every 3 months. Also, that little thing you just pulled out, that's the Plow 2.0. Right now they're including that. Go ahead and open that up. You can just, there you go. So it's a little mirror there, and it's a little straight razor. Ah! No, it's a straight razor. It comes with a few blades, but it is the safety razor with upgraded ergonomic design. Now, you can use promo code HORROR20 to get free shipping on your first order here, but for a limited time, you get all of this stuff included, even the bag. So you get 20% off plus free shipping from your Perfect Package 2.0 purchase when you use promo code HORROR20, all one word, HORROR20 at manscaped.com.
the fingerprints and he's able to rip my face off. I can feel the pain, I'm unable to break away from, but I won't fall. I'm a goddamn beast, and they call me T-Rex when I chop on beats. Ready to strikes when I fight for the peace. Got the city on lock when I stomp through the street. Motherfuckers wanna talk like I'm all for the meds. Everything I seen is all in my head. Got plenty of demons under my bed, but none of them are breathing. They think that I am dead, but no, I'm alive and stuck in a time where people are dying around me. I'm crying, sick of the violence. People are flying with fingers are flying. Now everybody's
not used to it. Where the fuck is the rest of my team? What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Horror Show. I'm Cecil Laird.
I'm Producer Dave.
And we are here to do a bit of a behind-the-scenes special, just like we did with Vince's Disappear, the Never Hike Alone music video that we helped out on. So we, obviously, most of you guys know that we are currently running a campaign on Indiegogo for Dylan's New Nightmare. You see the poster right there. We are about 2 weeks out. We've already raised a healthy portion of the budget. We've got about 25% left to go, with about 25% of the time left to go. So we're pretty much on track there, but hopefully we can make sure we raise the whole thing. But we are here to talk about the behind the scenes of the teaser that we put together.
Well, and it's kind of like a thank you also, because we've been so successful so far with the campaign.
True.
That anybody who's tuning in now to the horror show because of the campaign, thank you. Mm-hmm. And we're going to talk a little bit about making the teaser.
Indeed. So I know a lot of you guys like the behind the scenes stuff when we show it, and this is going to be the big special where we're going to show the majority of it. Now, Dave has already done a bunch of pre-edits, and credit to Dave for the patience to do all of this, but he's done the pre-edits on the footage itself. So now we just need to talk about it, and then he's going to kind of intermingle them in that very special way that only Dave knows how to do.
Magic is happening.
Let's talk about the teaser, Dave. So let's talk about the shoot, okay? Everyone knows the setup at this point. We've done numerous vlogs, which if you haven't watched the vlogs on the channel, there's been 4 so far that tell the story of, you know, how the project came to be, all the way up until me getting like the sweater and things like that and unboxing them for everyone. And so this is just going to be focused specifically on the week we spent making the teaser. Yeah. Which there was a lot that went into it. So we're going to try and do it succinctly for you guys as well. I tend to be the more verbose one. So Dave will rein me in a little bit, I think. But let's get into it. So this ended up being about a 5-day, 4-night shoot. We brought everyone in on Tuesday, right?
No, it was probably about 16 hours of shooting.
Well, yeah, but as far as how long everyone was there.
But we decided that we were going to have vacation out of it. A nice time. We weren't going to try to, like, music video it and cram it all into 2 days.
Correct.
The whole idea was that we could get together on day 1, like, meet each other, do a little bit of behind-the-scenes work, and then shoot 2 nights and get it done, and then have an extra day just in case. For example, like if it had rained all night and Renee hadn't been able to get his second setup outside, then we would have had another night with the house to do that outdoor shot. So I think we approached it from the get-go as sort of like, look, we're going to spend a set amount of money on the location. We might as well get it for a week so we have some prep time and so we have some cleanup time. And it actually worked out way better and way more relaxed. And I believe it was the funnest set I've ever been on.
Really?
Yeah,
that's good to know.
For sure,
because you've been on a lot.
Well, and I had moments of stress, but
we all did.
Overall, though, it felt more along the lines of
do another tilt. Can we kind of Hollywood the bed a little bit and just pull it forward if possible?
Yes. I need to get out.
No. You got only a little bit of blood.
Yeah, we're
stronger on the other side.
Yeah.
Alright. We're gonna have 3 different styles of recording behind the scenes.
That's fine.
Alright, guys. Let's pull it on 3.
Yep.
All the behind the scenes, all the time.
Bam.
Pull it from
I'm very like.
Alright, 1, 2, 3, pull.
Shit, my side. There we go.
Good check, Frank.
Super tough.
Feel much better than it was serious. little more room now.
Good. What about, I don't have another box. I was gonna say, what if we lifted that up? Cheated that nightstand up.
Yeah, let's cheat the nightstand.
Yeah, we can do
That's-
that.
That's solid.
We cheat the
Look
nightstand.
at the big brain. Don't brag.
Come on, man.
Aside from the one big mistake I feel like I made, which was to give Miko the master bedroom, which was the shooting room, I realized my mistake almost like the second night, and I was like, oh shoot, we already gave up. We should have gave him the middle room.
No,
and
I
made-
think he liked it though because he had the big tub to use, and then he had the big
Yeah, but he
TV
coulda
on the
got in-
wall.
he
that
coulda
he
got in
he
there
had
and
his
used
switch
it.
connected to that big TV. There
Oh,
was
yeah.
no TV in the other room.
Oh, okay.
So I think he was fine with it. I really do. And in
But
fact,
in the future, that is something that I think that it's important, especially if you're doing it day after day after, like if we're going to do a 3 or 4 day shoot,
Sure.
or maybe even longer, then you want to have I want him to have that. Well, it's different locations anyways. But basically, that was his room that
Yeah.
he stayed in all week. Was the room that was in. And so in the behind
Featured,
the scenes, well,
yeah.
that's what's fun in the behind the scenes. So while we're talking about this, you're
yeah,
going to be
Dave,
seeing
you're gonna see a lot of it. Yeah,
Miko like sitting in bed talking on his phone, you know, like,
waiting for us to do our thing.
Yeah.
I will not. Can we
It's a tough
out
job.
the window, or are we just gonna come over like this?
Camera set.
Right there. Yeah, that looks fucking good.
Camera speeds.
And action. Hold it there. And move.
yeah.
I really like it. I really like it. We made sure to get, a big enough Airbnb that could house everyone
Yeah.
and could also be the set. Like
Yeah.
that was
The twofer.
because otherwise you're paying for a hotel room for Miko, a hotel room for Vince, and a hotel room for Renee. That's 3 hotel rooms plus the location cost. So why not try and be smart about it and just get a big luxury Airbnb that has, you can check the pictures ahead of time. And
Well, you're seeing it.
yeah,
behind
yeah,
the scenes footage.
yeah, exactly. So, but I'm saying if you want to replicate this, the idea that is, check the pictures ahead of time, make sure that they have a location that you can use in the house, and then just be like, okay, is it a big enough house to house everyone too? And then boom, you
Well,
get the
there's two other
location
steps.
and you get
There's 2 other steps.
you get a place, and everyone, and not only that, but it does sort of foster that old, what I like to consider like our 7th grade All Saints trip campground atmosphere, right? Where everyone that would stay in the cabin together, like the 8 people that you'd stay with,
Yeah.
they would be your clique for the trip kind of
Right.
thing. And like, so having everyone under the same roof kind of formed this bond with everyone. And like Renee got up and made us breakfast a couple of mornings, and Miko was able to come in and eat, and he was working out in his room, and like, and Vince was up before everyone every morning and outside by the pool, doing stuff for this Never Hike in the Snow campaign, which was going on at the time. And it was interesting that the house allowed for all of us to do our thing.
Yeah.
And so Monday was getting everyone associated with each other, or the people that arrived. Tuesday
Well, hang on.
was the same.
Let me just say,
Sure.
from you going out and replicating the Airbnb model, we asked permission.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
First of all,
Yes.
we got permission. Don't do stuff without permission.
Yeah, I actually considered it briefly, and like this, there was a lot of learning in this. And I messaged Vince. I was like, "Hey man, do we try and do this guerrilla style or ask permission?" He's like, "Ask permission. Always ask permission." And he made the best point that resonated outside of everything else. There's numerous reasons why, but the biggest reason to me was, can you imagine if we got shut down after day 1 because the owners got word that we were shooting there, and we got shut down in front of Miko, you
Well,
know, and the
the whole
crew
thing, yeah.
and everything. It just would look terrible.
Yeah.
And so, but plus the, you know, the morality of doing it without their okay wouldn't be good either. But nonetheless, yes, definitely ask permission. And then you know you're doing everything right. You know, you know if they get comments, you've cleared it with them ahead of time, and it allows you a more stress-free environment to be sure. So okay, so we had the week. Here was my plan for the week. Since we had to shoot at night for the actual teaser, of course, we were planning to shoot Tuesday and Wednesday night, and then Thursday evening would be the wrap dinner. Vince had to leave Thursday night, and then Miko stayed till Friday because he was going to another convention, so we were flying him straight to another state for another convention. And so we ended up having Thursday night to kind of just hang back and party, and we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so my setup was Tuesday and Wednesday mornings and afternoons while we're waiting for the dark, we would shoot all of the Indiegogo stuff.
Yeah.
So the interviews with Vince, with Renee, with Miko, with myself, which still hasn't aired mine, but that'll go up probably next week. And then the welcome that I did as well. So we filmed all of that during the day. And then when night came around, that's when we filmed the actual teaser. And we filmed, you know, it was just a 1.5-page teaser that we took 2 nights to film because, like you said, we wanted to make sure that we got everything right, that the crew gelled together. And I think, honestly, it went so much better than I could have hoped, you know? Like, I was just hoping that there wouldn't be breakdowns and stuff like that, and there wouldn't be no-shows, because in Sweet, we had an actor just not show up after the first night. And, like, it's, you know, I just wanted to make sure that everything ran smoothly, and I think we definitely ensured that that was the case. I know you were a bit more stressed because you had to wear more hats than you were anticipating, and we're going to fix that for the actual short. But we were all stressed. Renee was bummed because one of the first things we ran up against on the first night was rain.
Right.
We're here in Arizona,
nowhere,
and it rains maybe 5 to 8 days out of the year. And it just so happened that the monsoons had waited. Usually they're in August. We shot in mid-September, mid to late September for a October 14th release of the teaser, just so you guys know how quick that turnaround was. So we shot mid-September, and the monsoons waited through August and showed up that week. So it rained the entire week.
Yeah.
But there were times where it wasn't, and so yes, Tuesday afternoon and morning we shot some of the Indiegogo stuff. Did the same on Wednesday. There was even some downtime during the days, and I got to have some fun. And Dave, you know, I had him take a picture of this at one point where Miko and we had the downtime, and Miko brought his Switch, his Nintendo Switch, and he brought his Mario Kart game. And so I like talked smack, and I was like, we should play Mario Kart or Smash or something.
Time out.
What?
If you don't know Cecil,
Yeah.
let me just tell you.
Oh boy.
When it comes to Mario Kart, Cecil's quite competitive, to the point where his best friend at some point decided, I'm not really going to compete against Cecil when it comes to Mario Kart because it's just not worth winning. It's
His
just
best
not
friend
worth
being
winning.
him. Yeah.
No, it's not worth winning because unless you're going to rub it in his face, it's not worth winning.
I'm
'Cause he's
actually a
gonna
lot better about
No,
it,
because you're
though.
going to beat yourself up so bad
Well, that's true.
when you lose that it's like it's not fun winning against you. So, you know, you just play and... then, okay,
That is insight I was not expecting.
Time back in.
All right, Zach Morris. Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. And I had to, you know, I wasn't biting my tongue per se, but I had to adjust very quickly because Miko was very good, and I had not played Mario Kart in a very long time, and only once on the Switch.
Yeah.
And it was on the little bitty thing. So I had an actual controller, and I didn't know, like, 80% of the courses. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, please. Thank you. So, yes, I didn't know any of the courses. He knew all the shortcuts, but I still hung. I got second place, and
Second out of 2 players?
no, it's like a 16-card tournament in the new Mario Kart.
Count.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
yeah, they
so-
do, because you know how crazy Mario Kart can get with all
Yeah.
the shells a-flying.
Yeah.
So yeah. So anyway, Miko did end up whooping my ass, and it's funny too because he was like talking shit throughout it, and like I couldn't say anything back. He's like, I thought you were good at this, man, and I'm like, fuck, God damn it, yeah, I usually am, man. But at the end, he was like, you know what? It's cool. Like, I get it that you know it ended the way it did, but I still had a good time because it actually presented a challenge when not many people present a challenge for me.
There you go.
So hey, I was happy with that, but even before that, I had the forethought to think, Dave, will you please take a picture of me with Miko playing Mario Kart? Because in my mind at the time, you know, Wes Craven's New Nightmare has held a special place in my heart for a long, long time, and I've always really dug Miko's performance in that, and Mercury Rising, and Spawn, and Kindergarten Cop, and everything, really.
You know what's weird? Because of the way... Is that my chair? Oh, it's my chair.
I think it is, yeah.
It's kind of weird how, like, he probably made Mercury Rising. It was probably more than a year and a half until that came out. He's only, 2 or 3 years younger than us anyway. Mm-hmm. And I remember when Mercury Rising came out, and I remember thinking to myself, like, this is the next Leonardo DiCaprio as far as acting ability, because I believe that's the way he was.
That's his
and
favorite
if I hadn't seen other things that he had been in, I would have just assumed that that's how he really was, and it wasn't really acting. So that's how great he portrayed in that role. If you haven't seen Mercury Rising, do yourself a service and see the better Bruce Willis child movie.
Yeah,
it was better.
Well, not only that, but it's because Sixth Sense was literally the next movie Bruce did, and Miko was going to be the kid in that too, except that he was just in the movie with him in Mercury Rising, so they didn't want to reteam them right away.
I could just see the pitch meeting. Cecil got me on a pitch meeting.
Yeah.
So we're going to do the exact same movie, a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
Use the same 2 actors. Wait, won't that be a little confusing? No.
No, instead of being special needs, he sees ghosts.
Yeah.
Oh.
It'll be a little confusing. All right, well, we get a new guy.
We'll get a new guy. Yeah, there's this little kid,
So,
Haley
yeah,
Joel
it
Osment. I'm sure he'll have a long career ahead of him.
Yeah. Well, hey, let's be honest.
He's back.
He's a great actor too, and he did some great.
Kevin Smith brought him back into the fold with Tusk.
I think he's a great actor too. But I love Miko. He's a fantastic
Miko's
actor.
amazing.
And then, are you cool with maybe taking we'll take a little like a spray bottle or something, just spraying your face a little bit? Give it a sweat.
I was gonna do some like jumping jacks or whatever.
Yeah. Well, we just do that. And then you just spray that.
Okay. But the reason I like that too is it'll get my heart rate up.
Yeah,
and
that's
then I can even though I'm laying, because you know when you wake up from a dream, you're still
jolted.
like kind of thing. So
So we've got 4 options there. Again, let's do one just intense breathing.
Sure. Would it be weird to say that time it was different? Like I've been having nightmares, or is that implying too much?
No, but let's make it more organic.
That time was different.
You'd have to almost like incredulously go like, that felt different.
Yeah,
you know,
it felt
like
different.
But then that's asked that like there's not enough explanation as to what felt different about that.
Yeah.
So much interesting stuff happened, and one of the other things that we did, I think it's the back of it when you're leaning on it. But one of the other things we did during the daytime, because we had that downtime, was we shot something that is available for the digital download perk. And that is a commentary of Wes Craven's New Nightmare with Miko himself. And this was a ton of fun because he had more than a few great stories for us, including one that was hilarious where he made everyone on the set at the funeral. He busted everyone up at the set of the funeral, and it's such a great little story. So being able to sit down and do that with him, like even Renee and Vince, both separately to me, were like, that was really cool being able to do that with Miko. Like, that's not something you get to do very often, is do a commentary with, a guy from the actual movie and stuff. So what was your thought process on that? Because you got to do it too.
I try not to elevate people above what they want to be elevated to. Like, for example, I try to treat people how they want to be treated. For the most part, I like to look at celebrities and actors and all these other people just like people and artists, and Miko was so down to earth and cool that when he not only agreed to it, but like seemed kind of enthusiastic about sitting down and watching,
because he hadn't watched it in
years.
years.
I'm gonna be honest, like I experience, like, a lot of actors say, I hate seeing myself on camera. I get that.
And Miko has said that.
I get that a lot. And it's like, especially watching yourself as a kid, it's embarrassing in a way. I get it. Like, I get it. You're super talented, and everybody is like pawning all over you. You lived your whole life like this.
Mm-hmm.
And so the thing I always want to offer people is like, no, don't worry about that. Like, dude, it's cool. You're like, you know, at least I get it. There's a lot of people around who's going to be like, we need an autograph. Let's take pictures and all this other stuff. But at least there's producer Dave, who's like,
TCs of the
look,
world.
you're just a human being. You're just like everybody else. You take
The
a poop.
pizza slingers of the world.
Yeah. So it's cool. And like, I want you to feel that way with me. They're like a casual, whatever. And so, but I was just really, the way he explained it to us, that he hadn't really watched it in a long time, and that he'd never really watched it with like other filmmakers before. He'd never really watched it in the idea of recording it to actually comment on it versus like just watching the film to watch it. So all of these things coalescing for that seemed like it was like a surreal experience. It was really cool. And
it's tough to impress Dave too. And when he gets
like,
to do stuff like that, it's really cool for
like
me.
I'm not the biggest, like, I like commentaries where it's two people talking about the behind the scenes, and then maybe it's the writer, the director talking about the beyond the film aspects, the stuff that we didn't quite pick up or whatever. But it seems like nowadays we've got YouTube channels that do it for us. And one of the things I used to love to do is listen to all the different commentaries they would have. They'd have the cinematographer and then one of the actors. Like, they just sometimes pair them up randomly, and you just get insight into whatever. And usually these things are recorded right after they film it. They don't have retrospective. They don't have time to say, wow, this film really changed things. This was a prequel to Scream, which was a huge franchise. Like, if anything, this was
this was him
a
dipping his toe
backdoor,
into the meta stuff.
This was a backdoor, what do they call
Backdoor pilot, yeah.
This was a backdoor pilot for Scream.
As far as concept goes.
And so to sit with him and talk about all that stuff and laugh with him about certain things and, like, ask him if he could still do the voice.
Yeah, he talked about that.
Like,
he talked about how he didn't. In retrospect, he of course doesn't like his performance of it. But I'm like, dude, we liked it. You know, like it got to us.
Like,
never sleep again. I was like, oh fuck. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
and so
that was a really fun thing. Like, that's why I'm really glad
that was really cool
that we ended up getting so much time to do this page and a half. Because ideally, we're going to take the same amount of time and do the whole thing. You know, maybe a couple of extra days beyond that. It's still we're going to try and do a Sunday to Saturday thing and get the whole 22 pages done when we did a page and a half last time. Yeah. But, we have daytime stuff to do and all that. So we'll see how it goes. But it's exciting, and this was definitely a good proving ground as to what we can achieve. So that left us with Tuesday and Wednesday night, which was shooting the actual short, and then we'll get to the fun party night on Thursday. Yeah. So let's talk about some of the stuff that happened during the shoot. So we shot Miko sleeping and tossing and turning, and then night 2 was all the Freddy stuff, so we'll save the Freddy stuff for night 2. But night 1 was Miko sleeping, and we also did him waking up on night 1, which was its own thing. Now, we had Josh Schultz and Fuego doing the behind-the-scenes camera stuff. It was mostly Josh Schultz, aka the Wicked One, who did the first song for the movie, which actually just placed 3rd in KUPD's Play-Doh here locally in Arizona. And so he was doing the behind the scenes until Renee asked for his help as sort of the AC for the teaser. And so he helped out Renee with camera stuff, and Fuego took over with the behind the scenes. So that's what a lot of this footage is. You're going to be seeing a lot of Josh's footage and then some of Fuego's footage towards the end and stuff like that. But that's what they were doing while we were filming, and I was directing. You are the first assistant director, and so going forward, we're going to have the whole crew filled out so you can actually do that role You know,
Yeah.
like you unfortunately were pulled away doing so many things.
Well, I was just doing everything that I would normally delegate,
Right.
which is fine for a short
For the teaser, yeah. But no, so we're gonna make sure you're gonna be.
And also, Nora wasn't there, so I had to fill in for the tiny little bit of
the gore too.
gore that we had to do.
Yeah, which we'll get to that too, because that was done on day 2
Yeah.
with the Freddy stuff. So, but yeah, this was just, you know, getting the room set up, the pre-production, which was having a ladder at, you know, like 35 degrees from the base of the bed all the way up to the wall, so we could rig up the lights on top. Ladder looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah, I mean,
that's moody. That's moody.
That's what we're looking for.
That's
right there.
moody
Is
as
that
shit.
only one of those quasars?
I kind of like it.
Let me give you a couple other looks here.
Well, that's even moodier right there.
So we overshot by a couple of them.
It's all good.
That's a cool. All right. Hey, we wouldn't know if we didn't try.
So
Yeah.
let's go back. Let's lose.
Yeah, one is way better.
How many are lit right now? One. Single.
Wow. Your quasars are brighter than you thought, bro.
Fucking, they give some kick.
And then
see,
do
nobody
like black
consulted me.
plastic.
Nobody consulted
This is
me
a sore
before
spot
this
for Dave.
happened.
This is a sore spot.
I was like, why didn't we just move the bed, guys? And they're like, well, we already got it. I'm like, all right. I'm like, it would have been so easy, just like move the bed, put the ladder up.
So yeah, we, you know, the setups took a little bit longer because we were trying to figure out the lighting, and, you know, a couple of hours into the shoots at night, it started to rain.
Yeah.
And so we had to figure out what we were going to do because the lights were all set up outside. And the first thing we decided to do was let's shoot the exteriors, right?
Yeah.
Because we saw the clouds incoming and we're like, we need to get the exteriors done first. So as soon as it's dark, we're going to do the exteriors and then we'll go inside and do everything else and we'll move all the lights to the back.
Well, and also we didn't want to shine the lights at 2 a.m.
Right. Right.
We were trying to avoid that.
We were trying to avoid that.
Yeah.
4 a.m. Let's, correction. But nonetheless, so we shot that stuff, but as we got the lighting set up and it looked good and the palm trees were illuminated in the front and the back of the house. Like, it was a complicated setup and it was finally ready to go. And just as he started rolling, it started sprinkling.
Yeah.
So he kind of rushed through the first shot and then we had to rush through the second shot. We got it done, but everything was getting a little bit wet. And then we, ran all the lights inside and we were like, crap, what are we going to do? And so was it that point or did we anticipate and we went and got the pop-ups before that?
Well, I think the pop-ups were on the way.
Yeah, I think we anticipated once the clouds were starting to get ominous.
Well, we'll get into Jaime's clutch
roll.
Clutch
Yes.
roll. Like, Jaime did a lot of times on a set,
He
I'll
was
end
a
up
clutch
doing
PA,
a lot of what,
yeah.
a lot of what Jaime does, which is where you're like a high-level person who just gets shit done.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, dude, we need you to go do this and then come back, and then do this and come back. And he's fucking pro, man.
He did it without a
fucking
complaint.
pro.
Without a complaint. He was awesome.
I mean, you could have given that job to anyone to fail. So.
Well, but not only that, you made a good point. I don't know if you were just placating at the time, but
no, absolutely.
he handled the food orders,
bro.
And
if
he's
that's
a server.
What he does for a living.
He's a
all
server,
day
so
long
he
is
did not
take
mess
people's
up.
orders.
He
and
did not
deliver
mess up a
food.
single order.
Yeah, he's gonna get it right.
Yeah.
And I was so confident in having him being like, actually, if I tell, because I was thinking I'll just ask for my shit plain, and I just no, but I'm like, Jaime will get it right. Like, Jaime, dude.
Yeah, he did an excellent job. So he actually ran to Chipotle a couple nights in a row. That was our hot meals. I actually asked everyone, I was like, hey, do you guys want something else or would you just prefer Chipotle again? And they're all like, yeah, Chipotle's fine. I was like, all right, well, let's do it again then.
Probably the most important job in the entire crew right now.
Yeah. Bon appetit, peeps.
Oh, thank you very much.
Nope. That was cool.
All of this, and they're just gonna add sound effects.
I know, but it's cool that you can do it.
It has to be the first index finger only.
I may have you take over for hours.
The job of a producer.
But yeah, that's how we handled dinner. But so we ran inside and we started to do everything. We got the pop-ups set up and we set up the lighting underneath the pop-ups outside the window of the big bedroom.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the setup. I don't know if we ever got behind the scenes footage of it, but
the
lights were outside under the pop-ups shining through the window into the bedroom.
Yeah, we got footage of that.
Okay. So yeah, that was the setup that we had, and then we were setting up the lighting inside to complement for the whole scene, you know, because we had basically Miko in bed tossing and turning but without seeing who he was, and then we had to see the picture beside the bed of him and Heather, and then we had to see the picture of Wes next to his computer, and you know, we even did an earthquake shot that never made it into the teaser, but like there, you know, we did a lot of stuff that night, and it went well. It went fun because Renee had a separate remote viewing station for the camera. So we could watch what he was shooting with the camera a good, 10, however far away. And so Vince and I were looking at the camera a lot, or looking at the screen a lot. You were looking at the screen a lot. And at one point even we had to shoot where we were all on the ground because we had to stay out of the shadows. So we were like watching, like little kids with our laying down, Christmas presents and stuff like that, playing with them for the first time. And it was just a lot of fun, and everyone kind of gelled. They did their job.
So, where are you going, brother?
I'm going to bed after night one. I might touch on some Zelda, just like Miko is, the new Zelda game. But other than that, I'm going to pass out so I can go to bed and wake up and make sure we do just as awesome a job today as all of my crew did today.
Yeah, buddy.
Right. No, as well as they did today. I said it right. I'm going to bed. Good night.
Nah, brother. So what are we up to over here?
We're gonna prep at least one of these Rexes tonight and test the blood. We're gonna use water instead of blood tonight just to test it. And then if it works, then tomorrow I'll make the second one, so we'll have 2 takes of a bloody Rex. I'm just putting that back on its.
Nice.
Here you go. That's for you. Here you go, Rennie.
That's for you. You guy.
Nothing that we did was way complicated.
So we got through the first night pretty well. And
I would say so.
Yeah. Now, first night didn't end for you where it ended for us. Because we actually shot something that weekend that is going to be in the short itself. And didn't we shoot that night one, or we shot that night two? The stuff at the table with Renee in the close-up. Oh. Was that night 2 or night 1? Because you did the blood night 1. You were up later than everyone else working on that.
That was night 2.
So that was night 2. Okay. So night 1 was extended for Dave because he set up Nora's Mistress, is I think of what you named it, right? And because we have footage of that, I know. And so you were the one that spearheaded. There was one blood gag that we had to do, and we had to do it in such a way where Rex, Miko / Dylan's dinosaur from Wes Craven's New Nightmare, Miko actually brought that actual screen used Rex to be the guardian and be featured in the short, and we needed Rex to bleed in the short. But we can't do that with Miko's one-of-a-kind damaged Rex, from 25 years ago. So we got a couple of the pillows that you can get online that just have one arm and one leg. And so you can't stand them up, but if Rex is on his side, you can cheat it. And so that's what we did. We used a Rex pillow, 2 of them, as a matter of fact, that Dave took a bunch of time to prep, and we used that. So when Rex gets slashed, that's the actual Rex, but when you get to the shot of him bleeding, that's the Rex pillow that we have subbed in. Now, Dave, what did you have to do? You had to not only cut them, you had to feed tubing, you had to prepare it all. You did a lot of work that night. You were up later than everyone else, which is why I was fine with you sleeping in on day 2 longer than everyone else, because you put in time, brother.
Well, I just knew that we had to make... I don't know what the exact right word is, but it was only one shot. So it didn't have to travel. It didn't have to happen in camera. It was post/bleed. So that made it easy to do with the 2D Rex that we had. So it was just a matter of prepping it to make it look good.
Well, you're still a 3D Rex, but
Well,
just using that one side. I know what you're saying.
I mean, from the perspective of that,
dick.
you know, it's not gonna, whatever. But so it was just a matter of getting tubes into the pre-cut Rex and hoping that the blood, you know, trying to make it so that the blood will come out and down and look cool.
And you did 2 of them.
Yeah, but I mean, it wasn't. I mean, it was probably 2 hours of work. It wasn't that much. It wasn't that complicated either. It's just a matter of figuring out how to do it and using the right little tools. And I think I think we got the right tools. It was super cheap. I think the effect ended up costing maybe $50.
Yeah, that was crazy because you knew where to go for the tubing.
Yeah.
Right. That was just was it Walmart?
PetSmart.
PetSmart. Yeah. So we got the tubing from PetSmart, and then we went to
aquarium tubing.
Yeah, we went to a special effects store for the actual syringes. And you have the footage, right, of you. So you can show he set up 4 syringes that he would plunge at the same time. And that's what would cause the effect. And you can pull the teaser, too, so you can show you plunging and show the effect, how it looked on camera. But it looked really good. The only flaw I saw was only because you pointed it out and the air bubbles.
Yeah.
And it's like, because blood wouldn't have air bubbles or they would have died a long time ago. But if you don't, it's one of those Michael Bay things. If you don't know that, it's not going to bother you.
Well, the problem was that, and
Michael Bay said most people don't know if there's no fire in space, so screw it.
It was a different viscosity than the water that I tested it with, and when I tested it with the water, I got to a certain point of pressing it that was really difficult. But at that point, I had already pushed out enough of the water that I was like, okay, well, we're never going to stay on the shot longer than this. So as long as I've got that good push, but it actually was that difficult to push the whole time, and so it ended up not being able to be as controllable as I wanted. So I think what I would have had to do is been super close
or bigger tubes.
So if Rex was here and I was over here before, I would have had to be like basically just off camera and doing it, so I would have had better control.
Gotcha.
So that's what I would do going forward in the future.
I still think you did a brilliant job
but I also used store-bought blood that I wasn't used to, and I really liked the color of the store-bought blood. That's why we used it. It looked way better, and I think it ended up looking pretty damn cool.
Yeah.
So
no, I agree. So that we did that on night 2 as well, right? But you prepped that on night 1. So yeah, you were up later than everyone else, and so the next day I woke up, and the nice thing about having Vince as a producer that believes in the project is the next morning he again was working on his Never Hike in the Snow campaign, and he took an hour and a half out of his time to basically edit the entire crowdfunding campaign that I had set up. And he like went in and tweaked some things, and he did this, and he just went in and made it. And he said, okay, you need to make this graphic, you need to make this graphic, you need to make this graphic. And he just really was an MVP as far as, you know, producer goes, making sure that the crowdfunding campaign looked as good as it does look right now, you know, like, so, you know, the glove graphic with the percentages, that was his idea. The multiple level of stuff we're asking for, that was his idea as well, that graph. So like it only enhanced the look of the campaign. So that's what we did Wednesday morning.
Yeah.
We went through all of that.
You can almost kind of look at it like a team building exercise. Like the whole week was a team building exercise where we all figured out how this whole thing was going to work, and how this 2 weeks or 1 week or whatever, however long the shoot's going to last is going to feel like. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And also I think we're going to be able to get some really cool stuff, because I think we got, not only do we get some cool stuff, but I think everybody on set could see, oh, like this is the level of cool stuff we can potentially get.
Yeah. And actually that brings us to night 2, which was involving the Freddy of it all. And we had some interesting stuff to do with Freddy, because originally we needed the sweater that I got from Maggie O to be, exactly, that sweater. You can see the bottom half of it right there. We needed it to get damaged and weathered. Yeah. And so we found, or Vince had again made contact with this couple locally here she is a costume builder by trade, and so she and her boyfriend, they work together on doing cosplay and weathering and stuff like that. And so they did the sweater for us, and then as we approached it, I found out that we weren't going to have our Freddy. You know, Dave couldn't make it down for the thing in such short notice. So I was like, hey, you know, I had seen Courtney when we delivered the stuff to her to weather. And I was like, and she's a cosplay queen. You know, she was Pennywise when we did our spoiler review of It Chapter 2. And so I saw that she's supremely talented. And so I was like, yeah, let's see what she can do. So I thought to myself, if we're going to have a Freddy and she did the costume, she has, you know, a Freddy-like build, except she's got a little more junk in the trunk, as she liked to point out that day. Like, she was like, I don't know, Freddy's got a little bit more in the behind than he would, but nonetheless, we just framed it right, and no one could really tell that our Freddy in the teaser was female. It was Courtney Lee Creations on Facebook, or on Instagram rather, and it is Cortex Studios is their joint account on Instagram. So lots of really cool stuff that they've done, and so once again, she just was a trooper, and they both agreed to come out, and they actually were there on set night one, ready to be Freddy, but you know, we didn't end up getting to them, so we had to send them home after they were there until like 12 or 1 in the morning. But the next day they came ready, and she got in the Freddy clothes, and she put on the Freddy mask on the Freddy behind us, and the hand right there as well. So she got all the way into it, and she was the Freddy for us. And she did a great job, and we even got some cool behind-the-scenes photos of us, all of us crowded around the screen, you know, looking at the take after Freddy was on camera, and making sure we're featuring the glove that Mark Phillips from Nightmares Unlimited made for us. And it just, it coalesced really well, I felt like, that second day. So a couple things that happened was, after we finished night 2, night 3 ended up being just kind of a fun night.
Yeah.
Where Miko and myself and you were there, and you know, Renee was hanging out, and we all, because it was a luxury Airbnb, there was a garage that was kind of full of games. Like there was
we got clips.
An arcade basketball thing. There was foosball. There was darts. There was cowboy hats to go around. You know, party hats. So everyone was just having a good time, hanging out, and man, it was a really nice capper, and Miko felt like it was, you know, he even reiterated when we did our stream over on Dave McCrae's channel last night that he had a lot of fun. It was one of, you know, he really enjoyed being on set, and that night he had a really good time too. So it ended up being really, really awesome, and that kind of dovetails into the other point, was that directing Miko was something really cool. And I know you have a clip of that in the kitchen and everything, where you know, I wanted to pull Miko aside and talk to him about that moment when he wakes up, and like, how does he want to play it? How, you know, what does he want to do, any of the extra lines? And we were coming up with extra lines, alternate lines to try besides just Not Again, you know, and it was really interesting, and it felt the most like I was a professional director than any other point during the entire process. But it was really, really cool. And
well, I would almost suggest that you're more in line with the newer age of directors who are more collaborative versus the director who says, this is how I want it. And if you can't deliver it, we're going to do 64 takes until you deliver it exactly the way I want it.
Yeah, I'm not a Kubrick.
Yeah. And so, but at the same time, I feel like there's something that part of Adam McKay has taught us as a director and a writer, is that sometimes the catharsis of the moment is the true moment that you want to capture. And he might say something that none of us came up with, and giving him the confidence and freedom to do that is the good directing of the new age. Is like, hey, we're gonna do a couple takes, we're gonna get the line, we're gonna get it on paper, right? We're gonna get it in the can, and then we're here. Let's do it. Let's play around with it. Let's give yourself whatever you want to give yourself. And without putting the pressure on the actor to come up with the lines, rather than go, oh, we don't write lines in our script. No. Write some lines, have it ready to go, and then allow your actor to play. And usually on sets, you never have time to play. And so hopefully he felt like he had that. Hopefully.
No, I feel like he did. So, yeah, I mean, and then there was a really nice moment that I'll probably do a separate video about, which was the most emotional moment of the entire process for me was when he gave me a birthday present, because we happened to be shooting my birthday week.
Yeah.
And he gave me 2 little gifts that meant more to me than any gift I've gotten in a very, very, very long time. And it made me tear up right in front of him, and I got a big hug and stuff. So I'll go into that in a separate video, but man, it was just what an experience that week was. It really was. And I said this on the stream last night too. I was like, it really is what I would point to being the best week I've had of my life, because I achieved a dream, which was working with Miko on something that was associated with one of my favorite horror movies, the only horror movie that my dad ever went to see with me in the theater. And Wes Craven's New Nightmare holds this huge place in my heart. Freddy Krueger's my favorite slasher. So to be able to play in that realm, it's just been an incredible, incredible experience. And this teaser was just the first step. And so I'm glad we got to be able to share all of this with you. Any final thoughts from you on how it went or anything like that?
I would say that we've taken our concept with not only our channel, but our sort of like, we want to make films for people who enjoy, films, obviously. But to have fun doing it, and so that our fans know that we have fun doing it, and that we don't need, a bajillion dollars to make a good movie or good content.
Right.
So yeah.
I'm
excited.
Yeah, it is pretty exciting. The last little story, I guess, that I didn't mention in this particular thing is that when we were shooting Miko waking up, the way that he would amp himself up to look like he was, like really, after being freaked out by Freddy, was he would literally do like 10 burpees in between each take and then jump into bed. And like sometimes we were dragging ass a little bit. And so he actually said one take, he's like, hey guys, can we be ready to go when I jump into bed? So that way, I feel like I'm losing it a little bit at times. And we're like, oh yeah, absolutely. And so from then on, we were always ready for him. And we were like, okay, speed, sound speeds and camera speeds and action. And then, so we're recording when he finishes his burpees and jumps into bed and gets set. And then he can do it in his own time. And so that was really cool. Like that, again, felt like a moment on a professional set, in Hollywood. It was a professional set, but it, like a real, what I'm talking about, like a Hollywood movie where it's like, let's make sure that we're ready for him so he's not losing any of his intensity. But that again, I think goes towards the atmosphere that he felt comfortable enough to collaborate and say that, and stuff like that. So it's, and you actually, had to help usher out a few extra people because he had expressed concern too about a lot of people in the room. And so we kind of, ushered some people out.
As a general rule, and this goes for all film sets, that when there's dialogue happening, meaning you're recording sound, anyone who doesn't need absolutely to be in the room to potentially fart, cough, ruin a take because they make a noise, gets out of the room, gets out of earshot of the recording. Because when you're recording sound, there's no reason for someone to, be standing in the room whose stomach's going to gurgle loud enough, or they're going to snicker at something that's funny or whatever. So in general, people who don't need to be on a set during audio recording are not on a set.
Right.
Until that moment, we had not been audio recording. So there was like 8 people always hanging around and shooting behind the scenes and all this other stuff.
Right.
So a standard thing is like, hey, let's clear the set. We're going to have dialogue, an actor who needs to get focused. The last thing they need to see is someone, you know.
Right in their face.
They're like, oh my God, that's Miko. Hey,
Yeah,
Miko.
yeah, you're right. Yep.
So, you know, it's just a pretty standard thing. So I wouldn't say that was anything different or special. That's just regular stuff.
Yeah, fair enough, fair enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, ultimately, I think it was a fantastic experience. I'm glad we had the extra time to get everyone settled in. And then the thing we did on Thursday was we took everyone to a
I'm
wrap
glad you
dinner.
actually brought that up because there's a significant lack of behind the scenes of that.
The wrap dinner, yeah.
No, of the behind the scenes of the actual scene where Miko is doing his line.
Because we shut it down.
Because we closed the set.
Yeah.
So you know.
Well, there's a lack of footage of the wrap dinner as well.
Wow.
Because we all went to our friend.
I thought we took a picture.
We took a picture, but we went to our friend Tony Casanova's Italian restaurant, and we got some nice Italian food, some pizza.
Brothers.
Casanova Brothers, yeah.
And if you're look, I know there's not a ton of people from Phoenix or Arizona who watching
this,
but go to Casanova Brothers.
If you're in Arizona, go to Casanova Brothers.
Trust
it is
me.
really, really good food.
Trust me.
You're not gonna regret it. So, so we had a nice wrap dinner where we just all kind of talked about the experience and just had some fun and talked about some stories and stuff like that. But it was just ultimately a great week, a fantastic experience. And then
that was actually your birthday.
It was
Thursday.
Yeah, that Thursday was my birthday.
So I'm not going to take credit for designing the entire week around Cecil's birthday so that he could have a day off and hang out with Miko on his birthday at the pizza place. But it sort of kind of worked out that way, didn't it? Like, it's weird.
Well, yeah, I kind of had to figure out when everyone was available to come and shoot. And so that week is what worked out the best. And I was like
the shooting schedule of it. And
because I was like,
you
know, what I would. There's no other way I'd rather spend my birthday than shooting this. Yeah. So, yeah, it ended up working out really well. Yeah. So,
good.
I think that's gonna do it, you guys, for our behind the scenes special. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, click the like button. But yeah, if you guys haven't yet, check out the link in the description box for the campaign for Dylan's New Nightmare, because there's still a little bit of time left that you can contribute. We're still trying to raise funds to make it as good of a Freddy fan film as we possibly can. And we're just excited about it. So the link is in the description box. Even if you can't contribute, please share it out so more people can get their eyeballs on it. Every little bit helps. So thank you guys very much for watching. Until next time, I've been Cecil Laird.
Producer Dave.
And remember, stay scared. Yeah, just like that. Just keep going as you do it. It looks great.
Damn it.
All right, where's the fucking towel? Where's the towel?
Can you open the door, please?